Hello, Cece of North Olmsted Tutors. I am here to talk about week 1. The first experiment is from Van Cleve's book, The 201 Awesome Magical Experiments, number 2. It's called Shaded. And this week's box will not have very many supplies. The purpose of this one is to demonstrate how the planet's surface temperature can vary. And you need 2 thermometers, which these are what they look like. First, you'll record with the kids what the temperature is on them, and then you will go outside. You will place 1 thermometer on the ground in the shade of a tree or in the shade of the building, whatever it is, right in that area. And then you'll put 1 thermometer on the ground, but in direct sunlight. Hopefully it'll be a nice sunny day for this experiment. Also, it's important that you have to have them on the same surface, like if they're on grass or in the mulch. Try to keep all the variables the same. Then you will read and record the new temperatures after 20 minutes. So you'll do the other experiment in that 20 minutes. But remember, we talked a lot about questions, and you have this book. Each tutor will have their own spiral bound book for the first 6 weeks. And the questions you might want to start with before you even tell them what the purpose of this is, before you even tell them what the materials you'll need or your procedure, you're going to start asking them, what is shade and why is it darker? And these things, you could even have this whole discussion in your classroom to make it a little better. What have you already learned? We've learned about sun, light, and shade. I believe your science for week 1 is... where did it go? Yes, what occurred on each day of creation. So you would have already talked about the sun and the shade and the light. So we can start with that memory work and bring it into something that they're going to talk about. You could ask them why animals might burrow and seek shade. Why would you seek shade if you were on a picnic? Then think about things, what you might need to find out, like how does sunlight affect thermometers? How does sunlight travel? Get their minds to start thinking scientifically and about their world. Then, after you explain what you're going to do with the procedure, ask them to take a guess. What do they think that they're going to find out about the temperature in the sun and the temperature in the shade? Then I think there's a few more other questions. Definitely read through these. I emailed this sheet to you. The conclusion, why did you observe what you did? Figure out that our sun is hot. It radiates the light and energy for the earth. You could also talk about what's inside the liquid that's inside of them, that measures, talk about with the little kids especially, the measuring lines. How do we know what the temperature is? They might not have ever had to measure something before. Energy does not disappear. The energy transfers into the liquid and it helps it to rise. So then we talked a little bit about molecules and the science of thermometers. You could go into that if you'd like. But the point is that they would understand that that the temperature on our surface varies depending on what's going on. Thank you. Okay, so after you put your thermometers outside, you can sit in a circle outside if it's a nice day, and you can talk a little bit about number 17, the same place, the other experiment for this week. You could if you have a hard time with conversation starters, you could ask them, well, you know that the sun is what we're measuring with these thermometers. We're measuring the sunlight. What else might be up in space around our Earth? We know that the sun is out there, and then they can give you all kinds of stuff. See if anyone gets to satellites, because that's the purpose of this one. The purpose of this one is to determine why satellites appear to be stationary in our sky. And we need this rope, this little piece of string. I made it about 3 yards. And you can do this outside. The kids can take turns doing it. I think that would be great because you're going to need a helper. So in an open and out area, we're going to use a tree, or you can use just another object that you find out there to represent the Earth. So it's right in the middle. So Ryan and I, are going to use this chair that I'm sitting in as our Earth. Ryan,
plus, it's round.
yes, set it there. So Ryan is the satellite, so you take one and go that way, where we might have trouble in this not so open area. And I am going to be the Earth, and as I move, let's walk this way. So is Ryan, and we are always going to be facing each other, because that's how as the Earth rotates, you are rotating around me. So as that's happening, I'm sorry whoever's, I think Ryan's in Shelly's class, so he has a little preview to all of this. But thank you, Ryan, very much for your help. And he's also the cameraman. He wanted you to know. He's making sure that it's not wiggly. That's basically what you're going to do outside. And then, of course, the same thing with your questions and relating it to what we know. Why are there satellites? Why does the satellite need to orbit the Earth? I would think like Google Images is taking pictures, and if it's going to go faster rotation, then it's going to appear like it's moving. But if it's moving at the same speed of the Earth, then we're always going to see it in the same spot in the sky. There's other great questions on this before you start it, like, have you already learned anything about planets? Do you know what creates the days, nights, and seasons? We did talk about that in the last cycle, so that might be a great tie-in. How does movement of satellites and planets work? How do they continue to stay in orbit? Then the hypothesis part of the question is, how fast will the satellite need to travel in order to keep up with the rotating Earth? The same speed, slower and faster, and it definitely looked like Ryan was moving faster than I was in order to keep up with me. So I think that's what the point is, that they want to make sure your satellite is moving a little faster than the Earth's rotation. And I think I just misspoke and said that the opposite a little earlier in this video. Yeah, I think that's all. If you have any more questions, please let me know. But week 1 is pretty easy and laid back, and you should ease into science with asking great questions. If you have other questions, that would be great. Make sure to share those on our Facebook Messenger group, and everyone can benefit from that. Have a great day. Thank you.